Almighty God, we gather this evening hour to conduct the business of this city. We offer our prayer for our mayor, for the president, for the members of the city council, and for all in authority. Grant unto them a sense of justice, strength, and wisdom as they perform their duties on behalf of all thy people. We command this nation, this city, our armed forces, our law enforcement community, and our fire and rescue to thy merciful care and understanding. Remember those, O Lord, who lie upon a bed of affliction. Comfort those who mourn. Hear our prayer in thy name. Amen. I pledge to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sign-up sheet, if anyone wishes to speak, down from my right, your left. Now, the speaker will be limited to 2 minutes at the discretion of the president. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Ms. Nicholas? Here. Mr. Les?
Here.
Ms. Crary?
Here.
President Ricks?
Here.
Mayor Mo?
We have a court reporter with us tonight, so at this time, we'll go to item number 10 on our agenda, and I'll read it into the record. The third public hearing with possible action on ordinance number 1861, text amendment number 239, an ordinance to amend Article 1 titled Zoning of Chapter 20 entitled Land Development and Subdivision Regulations to amend Section 20-1 entitled Definitions and Section 20-6 entitled Table of Residential Uses, and to add ancillary charitable and philanthropic institutions as permitted in the public institutional zone and providing for an effective date. Mr. Brock.
Mr. President, text amendment application number 239 was filed December the 23rd, 2015 by the Mayor and City Council of Laurel to amend the City of Laurel Unified Land Development Code Article 1 Zoning, Section 20-1.7 Definitions, and Section 20-6.13 Table of Residential Uses to add eleemosynary, charitable, or philanthropic institutions as a permitted use in the public institutional zone and provide an effective date. On January the 4th, 2016, the proposed ordinance and cover letter requesting comments was sent to the Maryland Department of Planning. No response was received. The file contains a certification of publication verifying that the application and public hearing was advertised as required by law in the January 21st, 2016 edition of the Prince George's Sentinel. A memorandum from the City of Laurel Planning Commission to the Mayor and City Council dated January 13th, 2016 reads as follows. At the regular meeting of the City of Laurel Planning Commission held on January 12, 2016, the following action was taken on the subject zoning application. A motion by Mr. Wilson, second by Mr. Williford, and carried on a roll call vote of all members present. The Planning Commission recommended that the Mayor and City Council approve text amendment application number 239 as presented. That concludes the reading of the file, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Brock. This time it's 7:04, and I'll open a public hearing. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this topic? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing at 7:04 and I'll call for what's the pleasure of the council.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I recommend that we approve ordinance number 1861, text amendment number 239, amending the City of Laurel Unified Land Development Code, Article 1 Zoning,
Thank you.
Section 21-7.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Ms. Crary?
Yes.
Mr. Les?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
President Ricks?
Yes.
Mayor Mo?
I'll concur.
Item number 11, the third public hearing with possible action on ordinance number 1862, text amendment number 240, and then an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel, Maryland, amending Laurel Unified Land Development Code, Section 20-7.8, Table of Commercial Uses and Section 20-22.72, special exceptions to permit certain state licensed premises of the licensed dispensaries of medical cannabis, i.e. Marijuana, in conformance with the Maryland state law and providing for an effective date. Mr. Brock.
Mr. President, text amendment application number 240 was filed on January the 1st, 2016 by the Mayor and City Council of Laurel to amend the City of Laurel Unified Land Development Code, Section 20-7.8, Table of Commercial Uses, and Section 20-22.72, Special Exceptions to permit certain state license premises of a licensed dispensary of medical cannabis in conformance with Maryland state law and providing an effective date. On January 7, 2016, the proposed ordinance and cover letter requesting comments was sent to the Maryland Department of Planning. No response was received. The file contains a certificate of publication verifying that this application and public hearing was advertised as required by law in the January 21st, 2016 edition of the Prince George's Sentinel. A memorandum from the City of Laurel Planning Commission to the Mayor and City Council dated January 13, 2016 reads as follows. At the regular meeting of the City of Laurel Planning Commission held on January 12, 2016, the following action was taken on the subject zoning application. On motion by Mr. Wilson, seconded by Mr. Williford, and carried on a roll call vote of all members present, the Planning Commission recommends that the Mayor and City Council approve text amendment application number 240 as presented. That concludes the reading of the file, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Brock. This time it's 7:07. I'll open the public hearing on this item. Is there anyone wishing to speak? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing at 7:07 1/4. What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President,
Ms. Query?
I recommend that we approve ordinance number 1862, text amendment number 240, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Nicholas. Madam Clerk?
Ms. Crary?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
Mr. Les?
Yes.
President Ricks?
Yes.
Mayor Mel?
I'll concur.
Thank you, Madam Court Reporter. We'll go back to our original agenda. And that is the item number 6, the approval of the minutes of the closed session of dealing with real estate on February the 3rd. Can I have a motion?
Move for approval.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Les?
Yes.
Ms. Crary?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
President Ricks?
Yes. This time we'll do the report of the mayor and city council. I'll start with Ms. Nicholas.
Thank you. During my travels, I had the opportunity to tour the Howard County Multi-Service Center. And while there, I found out that Laurel is going to start sometime in the future having a satellite office there that will be there once a week. That's part of a grant that they are going to be fulfilling specifically for Howard County residents. As it stands now, Laurel services 07, 08, 23, and 24 zip codes. So I just wanted to thank them for expanding their services, not only to the City of Laurel residents, but Howard County residents as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Les?
Yeah, just to get well to Kay Harrison, and so she can get back to City Hall. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Ms. Query?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yesterday I attended the exhibit opening at the Laurel Historic Building. And it's 20 years behind the bricks, and I recommend that if you get a chance, stop by. It was a well put together exhibit, and I learned a lot. It was very interesting. Speedy recovery to Kay Harrison. Hope she gets her health back real quick. And tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, I guess weather permitting, the county executive will be at the high school to hear your budget concerns. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. I too want to ask for, send wishes to Kay Harrison for speedy recovery and to Barry Sachs from the Florida Fire Department as well. Mayor Mo?
Thank you, Mr. President. Speedy recovers to, as you heard, to Barry Sachs, as well as to Kay Harrison at CA's office, and Steve Odette from Park and Recs. Speedy recovery as well. Congratulations to Laurel Volunteer Fire Department and Laurel Volunteer Rescue Squad, their annual election of officers, and look forward to working with them in the year to come. I did have the opportunity last Thursday and Friday to attend the mayor's conference in Annapolis, and had very good turnout by mayors statewide, and talked about legislation, had leadership in the governor's office, or the governor invited us over to the mansion, had the opportunity to speak with the governor as well, and President Miller and Speaker Bush also made presentations. As you may have read, the governor did put in his supplemental budget money for the PG Medical Center. Part of that with the University of Maryland system is goes hand in hand with the Laurel Hospital, as hopefully the University of Maryland system takes over and Dimensions goes by the wayside. So look forward to working with the University of Maryland system as they move forward in their process, and we'll thank the governor for making sure that that money is in there. As we've said all along, we're not opposed to the regional medical center, but not at the cost of losing the services and all that's taking place at the Laurel Regional Hospital. Did have the opportunity to have my time with the mayor this evening at the Anderson Murphy Community Center. I want to thank those residents that came out. I want to thank those residents in particular who had a lot of good comments and feedback to us that were there, and a lot of positive feedback, and I appreciate that. Again, Mr. President, we'll have another My Time with the Mayor in about 2 months from now. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. At this time, I'll open at 7:12. I'll open the general public hearing. If anybody here to speak about anything whatsoever, seeing none, I'll close it to general public hearing at 7:12 1/4. We'll move on to item number 9, and that is the consideration of a recommendation to replace the fitness equipment at the Laurel Armory. Mr. Lotsky.
Good evening, Mr. President, council members, and mayor. As we discussed at a recent work session, we're in the process of doing some renovation work to the Laurel Armory Anderson Murphy Community Center, phase 2 of the project, and we'll be concentrating on the basement area mainly. As part of that renovation, we'll be moving the fitness room, the current fitness room, into a larger area into the range. And as part of that renovation process, we thought it might be a good time to purchase some new fitness equipment. The current fitness equipment came to us via the Robert J. DePietro Community Center when that facility got new equipment in 2004. The current equipment that we have at the DePietro Center, the Barkman Kaiser Public Safety Complex, and the Armory is serviced by a company called Heartline Fitness Systems. We purchased all that equipment from Heartline. They service us and keep the equipment in very good shape. And we learned that Montgomery County currently has a contract with Heartline to purchase fitness equipment. We learned that we can ride that contract. So we asked them to look at the facility, the new facility, and put together a proposal for us. That would include 27 pieces of commercial grade equipment, everything from the bikes, the standard bikes, some free weights, some standalone equipment, and some treadmills. So at this time, Heartline Fitness Systems out of Gaithersburg, Maryland, put in a quote for $75,041.15 for the labor and materials to install 27 pieces at the Armory. The funding for this project would be through the current CIP and the current state bond money that we still have to do projects down there at the Armory. We asked Mr. Shea to take a look at the Montgomery County contract. He did and thought it was in good order and we could use that contract. So at this time, I would make a recommendation to the Mayor and City Council to approve the contract from Heartline Fitness Systems for $75,041.15.
Thank you, Mr. Lotsky. As he stated, we did discuss this at our work session. I'll take a motion.
So moved, Mr. President.
Thank you, Ms. Query. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Clerk.
Ms. Query,
Yes.
Mr. Les?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
President Rex?
Yes. We'll move on to item number 12 on our agenda. This is the second public hearing with possible action on a resolution number 2-16, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel approving a right-of-way agreement between the City of Laurel and Prince George's County, Maryland, grantors, and the Baltimore Gas and Electric Company, grantee, and authorizing the mayor of the City of Laurel to sign the right-of-way agreement. So at this time, I'll open the public hearing at 7:16. Is there anyone wishing to speak on the item? Seeing no one, I'll close it at 7:16 a quarter. What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President, I move for the approval of resolution number 2-16.
Thank you, Mr. Les. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Nicholas. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Les?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
Ms. Query,
Yes.
President Rex?
Yes.
Mayor Mel?
Item number 13, introduction and first public hearing on ordinance number 1865, an ordinance concerning the City of Laurel's obligation term notes, Series 2016A and B, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel, Maryland, the city, in brackets, authorizing and providing for the issuance of, 1, the city's general obligation term note in principal amount not to exceed $1,667,416 to refinance the city's general obligation term notes, Series 2010A and Series 2010B, and 2, its obligation term note in principal amount not to exceed $1,402,584 to finance the cost of certain street improvements of Ashford Boulevard and Cherry Lane and the acquisition of a refuge packer, providing that such notes shall be issued upon the full faith and credit of the city, and providing for the levy of annual taxes upon all assessable property within the city to pay for the debt service on such notes, providing for the form's interest rate and the maturity date, and for the provisions of such notes and for related purposes. I read this into the record for the first reading. I'll open the public hearing at 7:18. Is there anyone wishing to speak? Ms. Saylor.
Mr. President, we discussed this at the work session last week. The city currently has 2 notes payable with PNC Bank, and we are proposing to refinance the current principal balance. Those notes had to do with the purchase and renovations of 811 Fifth Street, as well as 770305 Sandy Spring Road. The current interest rate was 2.41%. The new interest rate is 2.25%. As with any commercial loans, you finance them, and the amortization schedule shows the full term of 10 years, but after 5 years, we're required to renew, and that's where we are with those 2 notes. We are extending the term in order to also add the new money, if you will, of $1,002,584 for the projects that you listed of Ashford Boulevard, Cherry Lane from 4th Street west to Van Dusen Road, and the purchase of the refuse packer. And this would be a 10-year term. And Mr. Dory is here also to explain some of the other terminology in the ordinance.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Dury, do you want to say anything, sir?
Mr. President, members of the council, Mr. Mayor, just wanted to emphasize for the record that these are full faith and credit general obligations of the city, and the city is is obligated to levy taxes for their payment, as they have been doing for 5 years on the 2 notes in 2010. 225 is a good rate.
Any questions from the council while he's there?
For the record.
Go ahead and say it. Good idea. Bob Dory, Miles and Stockbridge,
Oh, okay.
the city's bond counsel. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, I'll open the public hearing at 7:20. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this topic? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing at 7:20 and a quarter, and I'll ask for a motion. That's right, this is first reading. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Drury. At this time, we'll go to item number 14, introduction with first public hearing on ordinance number 1866. An ordinance authorizing the city of Laurel's acquisition at no cost of certain real properties located on Fort Meade Road in the city consisting of 3.68 plus or minus acres. Levi's, is it Levi's or is it Levies? Does it matter? Doesn't matter. Little acres and plus 5.66 plus or minus acres of Levi's leftover that were declared surplus property by Prince George's County via CR 56-2015 and whose transfer to the city was approved by CR 56-2015. I've read it into the record for the first reading. I'll open the public hearing at 7:21. Is there anyone wishing to speak on the topic? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing at 7:21. And I'd ask for a motion to suspend the rules. Can I get one, please?
Mr. President,
Yes.
I move to suspend the rules on this ordinance.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Crary?
Yes.
Mr. Les?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
President Riggs?
Yes. Now I'll take a motion to adopt.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I recommend that we approve this ordinance number 1866 as read into the record.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Crary?
Yes.
Mr. Les?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
President Riggs?
Yes.
Mayor Mo?
Do we have any other business to come before the council? Seeing none, we stand adjourned. What do you think, Karen?